Hey guys, I'd like to do a video on some fur handling and some of the fur handling tools that I use. We're just going to get right into it. We're going to start with fleshing beam, okay? You can get a fleshing beam from anywhere. You can make a simple stand for it, just like I have, and attach the fleshing beam right to it. I use this for all Oklahoma stuff, beavers, coyotes, coons, everything. Simple fleshing knife. I use a Necker 600. So you just step on your fleshing beam and away you go. I'll do a whole separate video on handling the fur. I just want to go over the tools. I keep an easy to sharpen knife around, nothing too expensive. My main go-to knife is the Havalon, and a buddy of mine turned me on to these, and I like custom knives and everything, but these Havalons are really nice. I mean, 2 seconds, bam, you're sharp again. You're not trying to sharpen your knife. But I use those two. This is a knife I use for opening tails. It has a little hook on it, as you can see. So once you strip your tail, it's going to be like a tube. You can just run that hook in there, open it right up. Also works good if you keep it sharp for opening beavers up on your initial cut. You just run right down their belly, open them like a zipper. We'll get into some stretchers. So this is what I like for cat stretchers. Cats are what I mainly trap. This is a Graw, as you can see. Phone number's on there. He makes really good stuff. This is a cat stretcher, and I like it because it's rounded at the top. Makes for a fuller. I don't like the cats to get real pointy. And adjustable at the bottom with an adjustable tailpiece. So you can put your cat on there. It's called the Nevada stretch, however you want to call it, but there's a certain way to put up cats we can get into later. And all your belly can show on one side, and then I mark all my stretchers at 3 foot. 3 foot's where the money starts for cats. If they're anything less than 3 foot, just turn them loose and catch them next year when they're 3 foot. So you want your cats all up, so if you're a little bit short, you might stretch it down to get that 3 foot mark. So Graws make a really good cat stretcher, and I can't recommend them enough. Next on the cat stretching stretchers that I use, I sometimes use this MJ36 Mark June. They call it the Money Maker or something, money something anyway, but it's kind of a hybrid between a metal stretcher and a wood stretcher. So you can come down here and you can pin your bottom. It doesn't have a tail piece, but you can slide cardboard underneath there to get your tail pinned down. It's adjustable at the bottom. You know, it gets wider. I don't really much care for it because it makes everything too pointy up at the top, and I'm not knocking it at all. It's just not my style that I prefer. But I do have them. I do use them sometimes. Next up would be beaver hoops. I use these a lot, and you can see I'll put a piece of wire on it and I'll hang them up after I get them stretched. These are adjustable. They can go big, they can go small. And what you do is when you get your beaver on here, lay it on a table, and you need about a 2 or 3 inch gap from your beaver to the stretcher. And then start putting your rings on it. Here's your rings. And start, one on the nose, one on the tail, one midway, then just start filling in the pie. And then you can adjust it evenly after that. Next up is coon stretchers. Coon end up being a big part of what we trap in Oklahoma. They'll come in 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. A lot of people make their own. I buy some from Graws. I buy some off Freedom brand. They got good stuff too. And basically, you slide your coon over here, first side in, and I have some old coon that somehow or another missed the getting shipped off to a tannery. They've been laying around here for who knows how long, but it'll give you an idea. You slide your coon over this, and this will be your sight window right here for them to judge how good your fur is and pay you accordingly. So once you slide your coon on there, you'll pin him straight, you'll pin the tail down, then you'll slide your wedge up underneath your coon. This gives you room to, when your coon is dry, you pull the wedge out, it gives enough slack so you can pull the coon off. You just tip it upside down, pop it on its head a couple times, it'll come off. If you forget your wedge, I'll lay it in a deep freezer and then lay it in there overnight, bring it out in the morning, tap it on the nose, it'll come loose every time. So it's not that big of a deal if you forget the wedge, but you don't want to forget the wedge. All right, moving through that, we've got wire stretchers. I don't use these very often. I've had these probably since I was 6 or 7 years old. I got a coyote one back here too that I know I've had since I was 7. I started trapping pretty early, and they work, but they're not the best option for me anyway. I do use them. This coyote stretcher, I'm 57, and I got it when I was 6 or 7, so this is 50 years old. But I put a couple coyotes on this in my early days, and I use wood now, but I do use these occasionally. So I got some soft furs here, okay? I've got soft tan coyote, and just to give you an example of the stuff that comes off of what we did. We put some stuff in the salt. Almost everything goes in the salt in Oklahoma, because it takes so much time to flesh and put up on beams. I mean, the coon don't, but the beaver mainly. And this is the salt I use. It's just a fine rock salt. You can get it at any feed store. It's called the Stockman salt. It's crushed rock salt is what it is, so it's not that expensive. We use it on beavers a lot in Oklahoma, but not in Alaska, because it costs too much to ship the salt in to Alaska, because it costs to come in on airplane. I got some items here that we make out of fur. It's just a soft tan raccoon. All this stuff's for sale, by the way. I got a soft tan beavers. You can watch some of my other beaver videos. I make fur pillows and stuff, and I included in here. Here's a pair of mitts that I'm sewing up. You start sewing them up hide side out. And here's one that's nearly finished. That's doesn't have the insert yet, but all this stuff for sale once again. But if anyone has any questions on fur handling, or the two tools that I use for fur handling, feel free to ask. I'll tell you anything I know. I don't tan these myself. I ship them away to a professional tannery, and get at me, private message or something, and I'll give you the names of the tanneries that I use. I don't use just one. There's 3 or 4 different ones that I use, and in my opinion, each of them are a little bit better at certain things, so that's why I use different ones. But if there's any other questions you have, or things you want to know on fur handling, let me know, and I can do it for you. And I'm leaving for Alaska in about 2 weeks, and I'll be up there for quite a while for spring beaver. And I've got internet access up there, so I'll be doing videos and stuff from Alaska. It's remote, but I've got Starlink, so I'm able to access the outside world. So I can do a lot of stuff on beaver, and I'll have a lot of just videos of the adventure up there. Thanks, guys.